Well, the roller coaster that is SoFi stock keeps taking more and more twists and turns. We had another incredible earnings and profitability, and bang, just downgrades galore, and the stock basically just went straight down. But now the tide is changing once again. But is it another fake out, or is this a start of something special altogether for SoFi stock? So let's go over all of this today. We'll talk about the good and the bad, and we'll discuss what it means for SoFi stock, kind of what's going to happen to SoFi stock now, and I'll let you know if I'm buying the stock more or not. Just make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype. And make sure you check out my new channel for financial independence and retiring early. It's the pinned comment down there, guys. Make sure you check it out if you want information on that. All right, so we have a lot to get to today, guys. So let's jump directly into number one, which is upgrades galore for SoFi. All right, maybe I'm being a little bit overzealous there with upgrades galore, but given the way it's SoFi's kind of been treated in the past in regards to upgrades, it feels like this is like a tsunami of upgrades. It really isn't. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be overly bullish here. Please don't take it that way. I'm not trying to be that YouTuber out there saying, oh my gosh, this is incredible, greatest thing ever. It's not, but we are starting to see upgrades start to come in here. I mean, we had Needham initiate coverage there and giving us a $10 price target, which of course is pretty significant from where we're at right now. And more importantly, you had Citi reinitiate their coverage and give it an $11 price target for SoFi. And let me tell you this right now, guys, when you have a big bank, and I know that's been one of the complaints out there in regards to SoFi, that the big banks are intentionally holding it down. They don't want SoFi to go anywhere. All that other garbage like that. Please ignore that, guys. The big banks do not care about SoFi and what they're doing to that degree to intentionally try to keep it down forever and all that other stuff like that. It's complete garbage, guys. They want to make money on the trades. They trade, and you can trade virtually every single stock out there up and down. And more importantly, as institutional buyers start to buy stocks once they turn profitable, remember we talked about that before, once you turn that profitability knob, institutional buyers start piling into the stock more and more and more and more. If it's at a great price, they're going to buy it, and they control the movements of the stock over the long run, not the big banks, not anybody else. I can assure you, Jamie Dimon's not sitting around going, ooh, we really need to downgrade SoFi there because they're just going to get a big threat to us and we're in trouble there. So let's kind of try to keep them down there. We're just going to beat them into oblivion forever. That is not happening. But on the flip side, when they do switch to a bullish look like that, Citi, when they go, in this particular case, giving it an $11 price target, it's a very good sign because it's a big bank and therefore they make big trades, which, they're kind of giving you a little bit of a hint as to what direction their trades are going to go there. We'll talk more about that here in just a second, but just so you know, that right there is very, very good for SoFi stock, but don't get overexcited. Please don't get overexcited. We got a lot to get into here. So number two, even bears are coming around to SoFi. Even Tom Switzer raised his price target by 15% to $7.50. Now, I know that's still low. He didn't give it a buy. He just gave it a market perform to there, but he has been consistently bullish on SoFi for a very long time now. So now you're seeing even the bears start to come over to the bull side, and we'll talk about exactly why here in just a second. And I don't know, the first time I read this guy's name, I know this is probably a little bit of a sidebar here. I apologize, but I was just like, is this guy related to Barry Switzer? For those of you guys old enough to remember who he was, the old Dallas Cowboys coach. I don't know. That was just the first thing I thought. And then I had to Google it just to see because I just wanted to know. I don't know. Strange things cross my mind when I'm doing research for these videos. So anyways, that right there is another positive sign. We're seeing bears come over here to the bull side. Maybe not completely to the bull side, but at least they don't have a sell rating on it like they had before and basically telling their investors to stay away. They're basically starting to come over. So why the sudden change? It's kind of amazing how SoFi has great earnings. They have profitability exactly as predicted. They had great guidance. And then all of a sudden, bang, just downgrades galore. And the stock trades down. Negative news articles, negative sentiment around SoFi. It doesn't matter what they release even more positive news with the convertible notes, but yet it's a negative. All that sort of stuff happens. And then all of a sudden, here we are. There's been no new announcements. No earnings has happened yet, no changes, nothing big has changed at all, but yet all of a sudden here we are and people are flipping over to the other side. Everyone is turning bullish now, but this is also why I tell you guys, ignore the noise because this is just Wall Street 101. That is all that this is. The only place to get good information is on the earnings. That's it. I don't care about the news. Sometimes they release a press release or they or there'll be some other official document filed with the SEC or whatever the case is like that. Outside of that, Everything else is just news and articles and everything else like that to get clicks, to get information out there, to create content per se. And it's the same exact thing here on YouTube. The vast majority of YouTube is intended for that. And a lot of folks don't even know really what they're looking at in regards to that. Now, luckily, there are some very, very good YouTubers covering SoFi. It's actually kind of better than a lot of the other stocks that we like here on this channel, where a lot of the people covering the stocks, I don't agree with a lot. But I know in the end, despite the fact, yes, I'm trying to get views too, I don't ever buy what Wall Street is putting down. I really don't care what the news is. I know exactly where to go to get the truth, and that is on the earnings calls. And that right there is where you need to put all your focus. Not on all these other ancillary things that are going on, not on the upgrades and downgrades and all that sort of stuff. I know we talk about it here because I know you guys want that information. But in general, in regards to where my mind goes and my decision making goes, it is based upon those earnings calls first. So if you're not doing anything else, ignore everything else that you hear, ignore YouTubers, ignore myself. Just go to the earnings, listen to them, and then make your decisions from there. Not a reaction video to earnings. Actually listen to the earnings and get yourself there. That is where you get the best information. So what do all the upgrades and downgrades mean? Well, we all know, and I know we talk about it here on this channel, that analysts do not actually do analysis at all. They are responsible for putting out analysis and price targets and, buy and sell alerts and all that other stuff like that based upon the trades that their firm is doing underneath. So they're basically told by their bosses, this is what we're doing. This is how you need to kind of position your analyst look. And then they make decisions from there and they put out their buy ratings and all the other good stuff like that. So what this means to me is we are starting to see some firms, and obviously with Citi, a very large firm, putting on bullish trades on SoFi. Now, it's not everyone, clearly, not everyone's over there on that boat yet. That doesn't mean it's going to the rocket ship moon tomorrow or anything else like that. And one bad earnings or one okay earnings can completely change that direction. But that right there is what I take away from all this. And this is what all this means to me is we're starting to see some people put on some bullish trades on SoFi. Again, this can all change really, really fast. It can go the other direction really fast on us. It's not like SoFi is in a predictable stage, although I'd say, hey, the past 8 to 10 earnings have been pretty predictable because it's just basically been management has said one thing, and then they over-delivered on that every single time for like 8 or 9 or 10 earnings in a row now. So I definitely think we're going to get that once again. I have no reason to believe anything different, but I just want you guys to be aware that a piece of negative news or negative earnings could create a downwind real quick with this stock. So am I buying or not? And what will happen with the stock price more importantly? Well, I've been buying for well over a year now, maybe up to 2 years now. And most of my shares were bought in kind of that $4 to $6 range. You got basically an entire year to add to this stock in that particular range right there. But yes, I have still been adding to this stock. I basically just decided for my group, I'm going to do with essentially just a straight DCA just to illustrate it because I felt like after earnings, Wall Street was just beating it down at that stage for no good reason. Hey, great. That's the best time to add bonus shares to your position. I had a full position, more than a full position because we got a discount for so long. And I still feel like we're at a discount. And yeah, it doesn't always feel great to quote unquote average up. But I know in the end, share count is what matters the most. Sure, you can have a $4 average, but if you only got 1,000 shares of it versus somebody who has a $7 average, but they have 10,000 shares of it, well, I'd rather be the guy with a higher average and 10,000 shares versus the person with a really low average, but only 1,000 shares because they didn't want to add, because they didn't want to increase their average. And that's not how long-term wealth is built. You've got to average up over time into great stocks. That's just how it works. So yes, I'm still buying. I'm illustrating the DCA for my group there. It's all that I'm doing there. And I have no reason right now to not continue to buy this stock. Now let's talk about what all this means for the stock price, which I know that's what you guys want here. And so let's do a little bit of, I don't know, guesswork. We'll call it guesswork because nobody really knows what's going to happen here. But I do think if we get a few more upgrades and earning comes in better than expected, which they've had a track record of doing that, I do think we could easily see some momentum come into the stock and we get up over that $10 mark, which would be great. If we can get up over that $10 mark and hold that $10 mark, it kind of sets us up for kind of the future. A nice little run in the stock here. Now, I don't expect a Palantir style run or something like that because it's not part of the AI hype. It's a very different stock and it does not have the same runway that Palantir had in regards to valuation. More importantly, Wall Street's got to figure out what the valuation for SoFi is going to be. And right now that is very, very much in flux and it's one of the risk factors with this stock. And I'll be honest with you, if we get a great run and it runs up over $15 or so, at that stage, I have a hard time not disagreeing with bears who are going to say it's overvalued. Yeah, I've got to kind of agree with them if that ends up happening as well. And I think we'll see a significant pullback. Now, of course, Wall Street can surprise you, right? I mean, it's run up over $20 before. on nothing. And that was pure speculation and hype and nothing more than that. So I'm not saying that can't happen. And obviously, you guys know me. I'm not going to trade it either. I'm not a trader. It's not what I do. But I also can't say, hey, we get up over that $10 mark. That's great. We're getting right there on par with where I think the stock should be. But then we start getting up over that $15 mark. And at that stage, it's kind of like, I'm getting a little bit iffy there in regards to, obviously, I'm not going to buy anymore at that stage because I'm into bonus shares. I have no reason to overpay for SoFi stock. And that doesn't mean it can't continue to run. But I would also say it is overvalued at that stage. Now, if the opposite happens and Wall Street beats it completely down, well, that is the best situation for us as long-term buy and hold investors. I know for some of you guys, maybe freak out city, may not be happy about that. I understand that completely. But over the long run, that is what you want. You want sustained performance and Wall Street just beating it down for no good reason. Basically, the financials and all the numbers, EPS and everything else is going up while the stock price is going down. That right there is how you get that meta style opportunity. That's how you get that opportunity in NVIDIA. That is what you get in those type scenarios where the stock just basically does the opposite of what the financials are telling you are happening with the company, which of course means when it eventually all kind of turns around, all kind of matches up, that's where you get big runs in stocks where you end up with that double up or triple up. And you're very, very happy that you were adding shares on that dip and you increased your share count during that time, because then you have even more shares kind of whipsawing up to that higher price and kind of getting back up to fair value there, which is where all stocks eventually go in the end. So if it goes up, I win. If it goes down, I'm going to win. It's just going to take me a little bit longer to win. That is how you play this game as a long-term buy and hold investor. And if you want to see all my buys in real time or be able to discuss this with me directly anytime you want, make sure you check out the pinned comment for my group where you have direct access to me. You can take 5 courses for free. You can use our stock analyzer tool for free. We got free coaching in there for all of our members. We have so much going on in there. You can be a part of the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there. There's so much going on in the group. There's so much coming. I just made an announcement in there as the next thing that's coming here in a couple of weeks. You want to be a part of it. Make sure you check out the pinned comment down there and get your membership. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.